day 2, so still quite early in the process.
Right. And our mission today is really just to pull out the core ideas shared on that day, specifically about training the mind. Practical stuff. Okay, so the speaker starts off describing the mind, the untrained mind, in a way that, well, I think really hits home. Restless, jumping around, agitated.
Yeah, that monkey mind idea. Or they even say a wild elephant.
That wild elephant image.
Yeah.
Powerful, right? Does that kind of inner chaos ring a bell for you? Listening.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a common human experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, your attention just gets pulled everywhere. Emails, thoughts popping up, thinking about yesterday, worrying about tomorrow.
Totally.
And that wild animal analogy, it really captures the force of the mind when it's undirected. It's not weak. It's just wild.
Yep. Wild, yeah. And you might hear that and think, oh, great, my mind's a rampaging elephant. Wonderful.
Ah, right.
But, and this is the hopeful part, the speaker really emphasizes that this energy, this power, isn't inherently bad. It's actually potential.
Exactly. Just like that wild elephant, with patient, persistent training, it can become incredibly useful, a real asset.
So it's not about getting rid of the energy, but learning to guide it. Makes you think about the untapped potential there, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
And it highlights the mind's inherent strength. It's not about suppression, which, let's be honest, often just doesn't work. It's about learning to cooperate with that energy.
To channel it.
To channel it, yes. Which connects directly to why you might be tuning in, that desire maybe for a bit more control or just understanding what's going on in there.
Now, the speaker is super clear about one thing. This training, this taming, it takes your own personal effort.
Oh, yeah. That comes through strongly.
They literally say you have to work out your own salvation, your own liberation. No one else can climb into your head and do it for you.
It's like the path metaphor they use. Someone can show you the map, describe every turn.
Point out all the sights.
But you have to do the walking, step by step.
And that's crucial because even with a deep dive like this where we summarize things, the real understanding, the application, that's personal.
Well, it reminds me of that story, you know, someone asking the Buddha.
Oh, the one about liberation?
Yeah, essentially asking, look, you're enlightened, you have these powers, why not just, poof, liberate everyone?
Right. Good question on the surface. So this visitor from Agata asks exactly that. Why not just use your, I don't know, spiritual superpower to free everybody?
And the Buddha's answer is so practical, it ties right back to this personal effort thing.
He uses an analogy, doesn't he, about knowing a path.
Exactly. He says, imagine I know the exact road to Rajagriha, a city.
Yeah.
I could tell you every landmark, every turn, describe it perfectly.
Okay, so you've got the directions.
But does me telling you the directions mean you're suddenly in Rajagriha? No. You still have to physically walk that road yourself.
Ah, okay, so knowing isn't doing. Understanding isn't experiencing.
Precisely. That gap between intellectual knowledge and embodied understanding. You can grasp the concept, sure. But the change, the progress, that comes from your practice, your effort.
You listening have taken a step by, well, engaging with this. But the talk really pushes you to think, okay, what's my next step on the path?
It's an invitation.
So after stressing this need for personal work, the speaker then kind of summarizes the core teaching, like the essence of it all.
Yeah, boiling it down to 3 key things. First, stop doing things that are harmful or unwholesome.
Okay, avoid the bad stuff.
Second, actively do things that are wholesome, pious, beneficial.
Do the good stuff.
And third, keep working on purifying your own mind.
Avoid bad, do good, purify mind. Simple, but deep.
And the speaker emphasizes that this is like complete, nothing needs to be added, nothing taken away. This is the core Dhamma.
And they make a point about this being universal, right? Not tied to specific rituals or beliefs.
Yes, that's important. The focus is on the nature of the actions. Do they cause harm or suffering to others, or do they help? And what's the state of your own mind? It's less about labels and more about the fundamental quality of your actions and intentions.
So sinful or unwholesome just means causing harm, disrupting peace.
Pretty much. And pious or wholesome means contributing to well-being, harmony, helping others. It's grounded in observable effects.
Okay, that makes sense. So you start with that ethical foundation. Then the speaker introduces the structure of the path itself, these 3 divisions. Can you walk us through those briefly?
Sure. So the path has 3 main parts. First is Sila. That's morality, ethical conduct.
The avoid bad, do good part in action?
Basically, yes. Cleaning up your outward behavior. Think of Samadhi. That's concentration, mental discipline, gaining mastery over the mind.
Training the wild elephant.
You got it. And the third is Panna. That's wisdom, insight, the deeper purification of the mind through understanding reality as it is.
Sila, Samadhi, Panna. Morality, concentration, wisdom.
And the speaker notes they start the course focusing on Sila, building that solid ethical foundation first.
Makes sense. What does Sila involve practically, according to the talk?
Well, it covers refraining from harmful physical actions like killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, and also harmful speech, lying, harsh words, gossip, slander, even just, useless chatter.
Okay, so actions and words.
And also right livelihood, avoiding jobs that inherently cause harm, like dealing in weapons, poisons, intoxicants, things like that, creating baseline of harmlessness.
Right. So once that ethical base is more stable, you move to Samadhi.
Exactly. Samadhi is about training the mind itself, developing concentration. The speaker mentions things like right effort,
Which is about?
making an effort to prevent unwholesome thoughts from arising, getting rid of ones that have arisen, and then cultivating wholesome thoughts and maintaining them.
Actively managing your mental state.
Yes. And then there's sati, which is
Right.
mindfulness or awareness.
Mindfulness, we hear that word a lot. How's it described here?
Here, it's specifically about awareness of the reality of the present moment, often starting with the body, using the breath as an anchor.
Just noticing the breath.
Noticing the physical sensation of the breath, yeah, and then expanding that to other bodily sensations. The key is objective observation, not judging, not reacting, just noticing what is, moment by moment, moving from gross sensations to more subtle ones.
Okay. Observing without reacting. That sounds challenging.
It is. That's the training. And this leads towards samadhi, or right concentration, which is
Focused attention.
focused attention, yes, but built on that wholesome ethical foundation, Sila, and present moment awareness, Sati. It's a concentration that's free from craving for pleasant sensations or aversion to unpleasant ones, just focused on the reality you're experiencing right now.
Got it. And Panna, the wisdom part.
That's mentioned as the deeper purification, developing insight. But the speaker indicates that comes later in the course, so it's not the focus on day 2.
Okay, so it's a progression. Clean up your actions, Sila. Train your attention, Samadhi. And then develop wisdom, Panna. It feels logical.
It's presented as a very practical, step-by-step path.
But again, and this seems to be a constant refrain, just knowing these steps isn't the point.
Absolutely not. The speaker keeps hammering home the need for practice. Intellectual understanding is one thing, but...
It doesn't change you deep down.
Right. They use the analogy of fire. Someone can tell you fire burns, explain the physics of combustion,
You can read books about fire.
but you don't really understand hot until you touch it, until you have the direct experience.
Right.
That direct knowing is what changes your behavior automatically. You don't need rules anymore, you just know.
That makes so much sense. So for you listening, taking in this information is valuable. It gives you a map.
A framework, yeah.
But the real insight, the stuff that sticks, comes from mulling it over, seeing how it applies in your own experience, maybe even trying some of these practices, that personal effort thing again.
Exactly. The Dhamma, the teaching, is presented as something to be experienced directly. You observe your own mind, your own body, consistently, patiently. And that's where the understanding develops. It becomes less theoretical and more, well, real.
Now, just to round things out, the speaker briefly connects all this to the Noble Eightfold Path. How does that fit in?
Yeah, the Noble Eightfold Path is basically the whole package, encompassing Sila, Samadhi, and Panna.
Okay, so it maps onto those 3 divisions.
Perfectly. Under Sila, morality, you have right speech, right action, and right livelihood. We touched on those.
Right.
Under Samadhi, concentration, you have right effort, right mindfulness, sati, and right concentration, samadhi.
The mental training parts.
Yep. And then right understanding and right thought, those fall under Panna, the wisdom division, which again gets explored more later.
So it's just a structured way of looking at the whole path.
Exactly. And the speaker makes the point that anyone from any background can walk this path and develop these noble qualities. It's universal.
Okay, so let's try and summarize this deep dive on day 2. We started with that image of the mind as powerful but wild, like an untamed animal.
But with the potential for transformation through patient training.
Then the absolute necessity of personal effort. You have to walk the path yourself. No one can do it for you, like reaching Rajagriha.
Knowledge is an arrival.
The core teaching boils down to stop harming, start helping, and keep purifying your mind. Universal ethics.
And the path unfolds in stages. Sila, ethics, Samadhi, concentration and awareness, leading towards Panna, wisdom.
With present moment awareness, like watching the breath and focused attention being really key tools for that samadhi part.
Crucial tools, yes.
So this deep dive has given you, the listener, a kind of condensed look at these foundational ideas from early in a Vipassana course. A framework, as you said.
A starting point for understanding the mind and maybe the first steps towards a greater sense of inner balance.
So for a final thought to leave you with, think about one specific aspect of your own wild mind. Maybe it's a thought loop that keeps coming back, or getting easily distracted, or, reacting automatically to certain things.
Habit pattern.
Yeah, habit pattern. How could these ideas like patient observation, just watching without immediate reaction, or cultivating focused awareness, how might they begin to shift that pattern for you?
It's worth contemplating how your own active involvement, that personal effort, is really the engine for any kind of meaningful change or learning.
Absolutely. Something to reflect on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.